Hello, this is Kevin Kalmus with Nested Knowledge, here to show you how to configure and use tag tables in Autolid. First, if you're wondering what is a tag table or when would I use one, I strongly recommend that you jump to our Tag Tables Explained blog, which is available on our documentation and in the description below. This will go over why we chose to design tag tables and different use cases. But as a brief review, tag tables were created to fill the gap between tagging and meta-analytical extraction, where tags are for extracting qualitative text fragments, so pulling a sentence from an underlying article, and meta-analytical extraction is for pulling data elements, so providing statistical context. So say you're extracting a mean and it requires a standard deviation, and you also need to provide a time point. But let's say that you wanted to extract content, but it is neither a qualitative text fragment nor a structured data element that has that statistical information and context. Well, then tag tables may be for you. And if you're really wondering, why can't I just make my own flexible Excel sheet, then you should definitely start employing tag tables. Tag tables are, as I just noted, your flexible Excel sheet-based extraction that you can layer underneath any tag. So to begin, I simply need to select my tag of interest. I go to Contents, and I toggle on Gather Table Contents. I will then be able to establish my columns, so I could make a column for my inclusion window tag of the treatment group in question, and then the different inclusion windows. So let's say up to hours. And I configure my columns, and then I'm going to update. And you'll notice that my tag has now turned square. Qualitative tags are circular, and then tag tables are square. Once I have configured this tag, it will be available on all of my underlying studies for extraction of this flexible table of data. So I simply need to select my inclusion window tag, and then fill in my different treatment groups. And then the different numbers of patients in each of these groups. So I need to fill in the number of patients in the up to 4.5 group, up to 6, and so on. Once I've filled in this information, I can hit apply, and that will apply the tag and save my extracted data. This will also put this table on qualitative synthesis and make it available for export. If I wanted to configure further tag tables, I can configure things such as demographics. So if I wanted to see across different treatment groups, what were the different races of patients, for intervention information, so doses or dosing schedule or even different devices used. In this case, you can see I've built out a table of the different first and second line devices and the different doses of thrombolytic drugs used. And even for outcomes, if you wanted to extract a set of different adverse events or different seriousness of adverse event across either different treatment groups or even across different subgroups. Those are common use cases for for tag tables instead of tags or meta-analytical extraction. Furthermore, if you'd like, you can see here we've actually configured my original tag table for the same information that we are capturing in these qualitative tags, and we can think about the difference as if we gather a tag table of treatment group and then the number of patients in the up to 4.5 hours and so on, we will get data on the number of patients in each group, whereas if we instead gather a text fragment under a qualitative tag, we will simply get a quote from the underlying article. I am also able to do both. That will simply add to my tagging burden. Once you have both configured and then tagged with extraction of your information into those flexible spreadsheets under tag tables, these will then be available in qualitative synthesis and for export. I will also note that this is just as useful or even more useful in form-based mode as it is in freeform standard tagging mode. So you can see here as I switch over to a different nest that when I am in form-based mode, if I have a question that is answered by a table, then instead of a text fragment, I will be prompted to fill in the table, and then when I finish with the table, I will hit apply. This will then, of course, pull that data from the underlying study into your qualitative synthesis and your exports as shown here. So let's jump over and let's click in on a given study. And when we look at the tags, these will be presented alongside any qualitative tags that you've extracted, but every header that you created and then every bit of extraction you've done is presented to your reader. For export, you're going to want to go to Inspector, as with many export capabilities, and the one wrinkle here is that tag tables, because they are multi-row data, are currently exported in a different manner than normal tags. So when I export tags, you will see that by default, it will export text contents from my qualitative tags. If I want to extract tables, I need to toggle this to tables. I can extract them all in one go, or I can select an individual table to export. And then I'll hit download, and that will give me a CSV where every tag is a header. The columns in your tag table will be the subheaders, and then the data extracted will be attached to every single study. That should cover all the details of tag tables, but again, please refer to the documentation and especially to the Tag Tables Explained blog to go through any other use cases that may be of interest. Thanks so much, and see you on the next video.